My God, I'm really sorry about the last video. That was traumatic. Huh? That's what I wanted to avoid here. But when you work with Rust, that's the way. There's no other way. Okay, so in order to fix the problem, so what I did is I imported CERD. CERD stands for serialization deserialization. So this is a library you will encounter every single time. So whenever you create your custom types, that I've done here with the prediction, they uh, quite often what you do is you need to transform. So the data that this prediction has is essentially a string and a floating number. This data is stored in memory, right? But this data eventually I'll need to return it here and transform it into JSON. So there's going to be the problem of how do I transform, how do I express this data, this object that I have in memory as a JSON? How do I serialize this thing? Right? And this is when the library CERDEC comes into play. So this is the library that makes your objects able to basically serialize and deserialize, change their representation, how you present the data. So the data is the same, but the presentation is different. And out of the box, this is something that in Python, you never have to think about that. Any object you create, you can access, you can basically this transformation, for example, dictionaries to JSON is immediate, right? You don't need to worry about that. Here, when you create your custom types, they are not by default serializable and deserializable. This is when the CERD library comes into the play, and this is what I've done here. So I imported it. So I import the serialize and deserialize, right? And using, again, another procedural macro here. By using this derive command, I'm saying, please make this thing implement the serialize and deserialize trait. And this is something that CERD does for me. I don't need to manually implement those traits because doing that would require me basically defining some methods, which, I mean, you can do that, but no one does that, honestly. So, and this is why this macro is here, to make your code, let's say, more straight to the point. So now that I've done this, you can see that there are no problems. So if I save this, you can see that as I'm saving, let me check. The server is rerunning, and let me check if things still work. So let me send a request. Sorry, not this one, but make health. Okay, it's working. Okay, so what we did so far is we added a second. Oh, sorry, but this is the health endpoint. Let me check the prediction endpoint. So let me make predictions, and this is going to be what? This one. So let me test it. So make predictions. Super. So you can see that the return is exactly this mock output that I created here. Ethereum euro at 3,000. Okay. So far so good. Now the thing is that this thing, first of all, is getting too complex because I'm writing everything in this main file. Right? I'm adding the health endpoint, I'm adding the predictions endpoint, but imagine in general you can have many more endpoints. The REST API we're building here is quite simple, but in general, if you're building here a website or a web app that has, I don't know, like a user's post, I don't know, profiles. I mean, it potentially has a lot of endpoints. You need to refactor your code better. And this is what I will try to do now. So I would like to extract each of the endpoints in a separate file. So to do that, I'm going to create here. Let me do it like this. I'm going to create here an HTTP folder, and here I'm going to add the routes. So the first route I'm going to add here is a health.rs, and here I'm going to just extract this one. Let me put it here. So this is my health endpoint. Now, first of all, if I go back here, I see red complaining that, yeah, hello handler is not there, is not in scope. How do I bring it to scope? Well, first of all, in order to tell cargo that I want to include these things inside scope, I need to add also here a lib.rs, which is mud http, and then public, because I would like to be able to use. So mud http, what's the problem? Can't find module file http rs or okay. Why? Because here I need to add a mod.rs. Okay, so here we are. So here's mod health. Do I make it public? Let me check. So here a hello handler is still not available. Okay, let me bring it into scope. So I'm gonna use what's the name of this project? Prediction API. So prediction API HTTP, and then health. Does it work? Model health is private. Okay, how do I fix that? Here it is. So yeah, things by default in Rust are private, which means that they cannot be accessed by other parts of the code. You need to explicitly say that they are public, and this is what I've done here. So public here, and here we are. Health. Okay, so here, yes, I brought health into scope, but let me do health handler. Function hello handler is private. Okay, again, because here I need to make it public. So here it is, and now it works. So boom, I managed to remove this thing from here. Let me do the same with predictions. So I'm going to create here another one. I'm going to do predictions rs. Here it is. Let me extract this part. So this part here, let me first comment this out. I add it here. Yeah, the code, I mean, you see it's blurry because it means that it's not used anywhere. So to use it first, let me import it. Public module predictions. Here it is. And yes. Okay, now JSON, yes, JSON here is not in scope. I need to bring it. So I'm going to use Axiom JSON. And yes, and there are things that in order to use this prediction function, I need to make it public, do it from outside. And now let me do it. So use prediction API health. Let me use prediction API predictions. It won't work still. Why? Because let me check the module, public model predictions, library here, prediction API. What's the problem here? Predictions, and then what's the name of the function? I'm gonna call it get predictions. Like this. Get predictions. And we're gonna do predictions here. Get predictions. Does it work? No, because here yes, into HTTP. Here. Predictions. It said the name predictions defined multiple times. Okay, look at this. I think that cursor here was trying to be too smart. Okay, so here it is. What's the problem here? Yes, because I'm going to do public health, HTTP health predictions. The problem here, type predictions is private. Okay, that's a problem here. That this type is private, I'm returning. I need to make it also public. So let's try this. Now it seems to work. Also, see how JSON is no longer used here. And this thing can simply go. So let me check. Make predictions. It doesn't work. Let me see why. Is the server up and running? Yes, let me try. Maybe it was photo loading. Yeah, it works. Okay, so make predictions and make health. Okay, both endpoints work. So the refactoring was, I did not break anything. It still works. Super. So let's move on to the next step.